Hi, let me go back a bit. Hi, everybody. Um, it's David here. I need to unmute. Okay. Now my mouth should be moving. No, it's also not moving. Okay, doesn't matter. Um, yeah, as you can hear, I've got a bit of a cold. Um, I've actually just been on my first very large scale event since the COVID pandemic started. 800 people. Um, I did catch COVID. I haven't had it the whole time, apparently. We were testing every day, so that I guess was a bit unusual. So I tested negative, negative. Other people got it, then I've got it. Long story short, I had a first um, public face-to-face event with my colleagues. I'm now in a hotel, fortunately in Florida, days to isolate. Strictly speaking, the rules are not that strict anymore. People have said to me, just go home, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm in a hotel. I just wanted to reflect on my whole experiences of going back to physical events after spending 2 to 3 years focusing very much on trying to get technology like this is Microsoft AltspaceVR, to work. So I feel like I've got a little bit of perspective, especially because I'm in a hotel and I've got COVID. So first of all, it's my main work. I'm going to mention my employer. Many people of you will know it. I think they did it very responsibly. They kind of looked across the countries. I also think that it was kind of a necessary thing to get people back together. So we've all been working remotely, and bear in mind this is a company that has had two major mergers over the last few years. So we got everybody back together, took the risk, made everybody aware of the risks, and spent a lot of money on bringing people here together. So first impression is, of course, that's amazing. I'm lucky enough to have worked for this company for about 13 years, and I have a pretty good network of people, so I know who to go to for different things. People know what I can help them with, and those are kind of important things in an organization that requires you to socialize and to network, right? That's what the organizational networking is for. So it was very important for me to see those people again, first of all because I'm changing roles, but also just to kind of, mostly, to reinforce all of those kind of bonds that you make with people. And that kind of relationship. You have the people that you like, the people you don't like, the people who like you, all these kind of human social things, which is sometimes a pain in the ass, but it's the way we work as humans. So to be honest, I was very happy to be here. I really wanted to be here. I knew the risks I was going through, and I really enjoyed seeing all my colleagues again, to be honest. However, that was in the context of nobody wearing masks, because here in Florida it's not compulsory. We were given the option not to wear masks. We were encouraged to wear masks, but nobody wore masks apart from a few Asian colleagues. Everybody, by the second or third night, people let down their guard. Everybody was hugging. Everybody was speaking to each other very, closely to each other. All of those kind of things happened. So I kind of knew, all right, on the first night when somebody I'd shaken hands with, tested positive and was being sent home or sent to his room, I kind of knew, like, okay, that's going to happen. So I kind of accepted the risk. The point is not to talk so much about the risk of catching diseases here at physical events, although clearly that's exactly what happened, right? What I really wanted to reflect on was the overall experience of the event. So I'll start just to reiterate, the networking of this was on fire. Everybody really wanted to see each other. Everybody was catching up. Everybody had a few drinks. Almost many people, and really kind of let down their sort of social norms and just really did those bonding again, which I think is very important. And that's a critical thing, and why we do these things. It's what makes us human. However, on the other side, I'm in an 800-person ballroom. I did get to see our CEO for the first time ever, but he was like this size. I got to see an astronaut. I got to see all sorts of presentations. But to be honest, I could have just as well have consumed that content from home. Absolutely no issue with that at all. In fact, at one point, it was a presentation I really wanted to see, but I had to have a bio break, and I just turned on our live stream and went to the toilet and with my headphones and didn't miss any of it. So, you know, what we've learned over the last 2 years is live stream everything, record it all. That's a obvious thing to do that we didn't used to do as business, right? Um, so my point is, I feel like getting people together physically is very important. If you can do it on a worldwide scale, great. However, there are risks and there are huge expenses associated with that. There's the flying everybody in, there's the hotels. I think my trip cost £3,000, for example. So times that by 800, you're at a pretty big number. There's the environmental cost, so CO2. You know, the food that gets wasted. Some people have told me about. There are huge implications of sending people to. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, really what's the balance there. So for me, after 3 years, it was pretty much essential and worth the money to put people together. You have to do that. Also, because I work in strategy, you need to put people together to kind of hammer out the hard kind of challenges, the things that you've got to go through. That's really important. Although the strategy team have been meeting, you know, for more than the general population of the company. They've been meeting a few months earlier and trying to get together because you need that kind of stuff for workshops. But all the content, all that teaching stuff, all the watch this PowerPoint stuff, that could be done asynchronously, and it can be done in a variety of different ways that are far cheaper to do, and potentially even more engaging for the people who are watching that. So, okay, that's my sort of opinion about this event. Do it every few years. Don't do it every year, but try and get everybody together. It is important. And maybe even, of course, do it regionally, which we did actually as well. I think last year we've got a few people together from each region, so they can get together, form and storm and all that kind of stuff. But for the whole organization, you know, that can every 5 years, you know, could be something like that. Or you pick people who are interested in particular verticals, an industry, or a particular horizontal capability, you know, so 3D CAD or information management, whatever. It's important to get those groups together. So we need to start thinking about these kind of things differently. So the rest of this video is going to be reflecting back onto technology like this. This is Microsoft's AltspaceVR. It's a VR application I'm using on an Oculus Quest 2 headset at the moment because I like to do that. But you can use it on your laptop or Mac these days. But this platform, this tool, has incredibly powerful capability to do large-scale events. So I'm going to show you around. So I'm sitting here at my virtual desk looking at myself in the mirror. I'm now going to go off, and you'll watch the rest of this presentation, if you like, really in first person mode, so you'll see it through my eyes. So I'll give you a little tour here. So is this application. Microsoft bought it from a startup, I think it was California, and they provide you with some kind of cartoony environments like this. This is my home. This is my apartment for me. It's my private home. I can invite people in here. Realistically, 30 to 50 I think works on the mobile devices. But there's a technology that allows you to bring in 44,000 people into an event. So this is much like you'll see in any event, you know, where networking happens. You play some games. If you see here, I've got some interactive items. You can set off some fireworks. I've got some basketball over here, so I can just teleport. No more walking around, and I can do basketball. Okay, it's not going to go in. But imagine this filled with 50 people that you know. Okay, they're going to be an avatar form like you saw, my cartoon head, but this people you know. And the key thing about these environments is that unlike a Zoom call, you can mingle around, and there's spatial audio, which means I won't hear if people are having a conversation over there inside that room. I won't hear it. But if they come outside here, I will hear it. So we can have multiple conversations just like a real life. You'll also see these screens. This is the AltspaceVR logo here, and that means that I can project any kind of content onto these. So let's just have a look at this and see if I've got anything on this projector. So I can either take images from the internet. So I've only got one here by the looks of it. And I can project them as a presentation or whatever I like. So these can be videos, which are somewhere in the cloud, or images. So that's one way. And this big thing over here, connect it to a laptop, and it can project anything that's on the desktop of that laptop. So it could be PowerPoint, a YouTube video, anything. And I'll even get the sound coming through here for everybody's place. You'll see here that I've got some controls. Actually, this is my controls for that screen there, so I can connect it to my machine, and then I can look at it privately on that small screen, or I can share it with everybody. So you've got full control. The other thing is here, over here, I've got a toolbar, so I can go in and I can edit some additional objects, and this is getting technical here. But there's a few key things that I'll show you in here. So I can create an audience zone. So you can see here it comes in as a, let me just close that. So an audience zone comes in as this box, which I can drag onto the floor, make it bigger. And let's go back into that. And an audience zone is a little area which has some specific properties. So once you walk into this, you could be muted, for example, or you could not have access to specific controls, or we could set it up so that you don't hear the people who are in the stage zone over here. This is the stage zone. So these are basically areas which have properties, but it gives you a lot of control. So mute everybody in there, only allow people here to speak, and usually what we do is we turn off that spatialized audio, so that distance drop off, so you can hear the people on the stage wherever you are in this room. And there's basically a huge amount of things we can bring in here. So we can label up, so we can do our branding for an event. We bring in 3D points. We can create spawn points so that people, when they arrive at this event, will appear in a specific place. There are other things, if I can remember where they are. We can bring in polls in here. This is kind of a script which will address your character with a hat. And of course, you could make a branded hat for your organization. There's all sorts of things. There's the world there that shows everybody where you are, and a variety of ways to create some kind of interaction, quizzes, the solar system, etc., etc. So it's a pretty powerful platform, and it has, I would say, just the right amount of capability to allow you to control people in avatar form. I'm sure that real event organizers would love to have that ability to mute everybody in the audience, or to make everybody heard. Well, we use a microphone to make everybody on the stage heard. What I wanted to show you was, so this is my home environment, but I wanted to show you that you can have environments which are much thick. And I think these environments will simply become more and more realistic as time goes on. So go to my menu here, go to worlds, and if I click on favorites, click through. You can see here we've got an office world in there. So there's nobody in this world. This is PTK Catalyst General Session Hall. I have no idea what this organization is. It's maybe university. Just in case it could be my audio when I'm loading, but just so what's happening there. So should just take a second. Bear in mind I'm on hotel internet. So here we are. we're in this um, more realistic looking environment. Ah, I can see that they've updated, so they've been using it for this year. And wow, they have some keynote speakers up here. Writer, actor, comedian. Can't see the name. BJ Novak. Tala Alamar. So I'm speaking quietly because it could be that they don't know that I'm in their room. But this is just to show you that you can have on, environments here, and you can do branding, on lights, all sorts of cool stuff. Um, and this is more sort of traditional classic stage setup. You even have a little backstage. I see that they've changed it, so this is another thing, question you might have. These environments are typically modeled by 3D Modeler, and they can be uploaded via what we call Unity SDK. So you can create any environment you want. So I just wanted to show you that environment, and I'm going to go back and show you what it's like to create an event. So if I go to events, I can create a new event. Let's just say it's a presentation. And I have built in some environment. Boardroom meeting, and this one, cool. Arena. And I want to do this one outside. I can make it a list event, which means people will see it on that menu. This is a public platform, just to be clear. And here we are. So within 2 seconds, I've created an event. The 3D environment, of course, has been uploaded by Microsoft before. You can see we've got a nice breakout socializing area outside here. And just to give a little bit more information about these events, I think I have to go to my events. I can edit a lot more information about this event if I go to the web page of AltspaceVR in this case. So you can see here there's an entry code created. You can share that with people by sending them a URL or a link. I can even restrict the people who've got access to the room. So I can actually key in a list from Eventbrite or whatever the event system is that's used to book this, and I can make the event very private. The other thing that I've learned recently is that you can go through Microsoft and you can set up the whole AltSpace platform on a private tenant. So you can take this code, which is running here on a public web, and I can run it on a private tenant. So let's have a look at the space. They have a new logo in there. This is the Mesh logo from Microsoft Mesh. And I think this room, if I go to the editor, I don't have the ability to edit this room. That's okay. I think you have to make a copy of it if you want to edit it. But you'll see here that I have a host panel. Well, let's go back there. I have some shortcuts. So I can turn something called a stage blocker. This will use that stage zone 3D model, or this kind of volume which you can define, as a collision zone. So it will stop people from being able to go in there. So you can block the participants who should be here from moving into that space. I can amplify my voice. This means anybody in the space can hear my voice wherever they are in this world. So this environment is not very big, but it means I can stand on the stage and say, okay, everybody, break's over, come through. I can do a message to everybody as well. So even if people don't choose to hear my voice, I can write to them, send them an event end message, and I can mute everybody. So mute everybody. I'm a superpower. But there's even more. So I can actually create in here, so I can see who's got open mics. So this is very useful for debugging when somebody's talking. Like in a Zoom meeting, you look at that little symbol and you say, "Hey, can you mute? We can hear your vacuum cleaner, kid's dog, cat." Um, we can see who are the hosts in this area, and I can assign people from the participants. So bear in mind, this room can probably host about 50, and I can assign hosts. Those hosts have then the rights to help you with the event, so they can mute people. You can give them basically powers. I can see friends, and on air is an extremely interesting capability. So if I go to rooms, now this is the cool thing. I can I can copy the environment which I'm in just now and create another instance of this room. So there's now room 1 and room 2. So I'm the only person in room 1, and so far 0 are in room 2. Now that on-air functionality, let's just go to the stage actually. So the stage, as far as I remember, has something in its properties that makes you always on air. So as soon as somebody is allowed into the stage, so what I could do is select somebody in the audience and say, you are now a speaker, just like in Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces. And then they would allow to be teleported in here. All other participants are blocked from that, right? When I say, and as I said, the script of this volume here that I'm inside would turn them on air. But as a host, I can put myself on air even if I'm, up the back doing something, right? On air, it's very hard to demonstrate this to you. What it does is in these multiple rooms, it will replicate my avatar voice and with all avatar movements. So that means we can have the CEO or comedian or musician or whoever's the presenter, the main reason people come to your event, and we can replicate that show on stage with, I think it's hundreds of rooms that they allow you to replicate. The audience will be different. So in each room, there will be, it's an instance, so there'll be 50 people in each room as it fills up. So you see there, 1 of 50. But the audience see the same show. Now, the other cool thing is, you've probably seen here that I've got emoticons. Oh, where is that? So that's this little wheel here. So I can put my hand up, I can smile, whatever. The presenters on stage, people who are usually on air, will see all of the emoticons from people. So you can get some audience feedback. So you can say, put your hands up and click a hands up emoticon if you liked the lunch is a bad example, but the last presentation. So amazing technology. I'm going to wrap it up just now because my battery is just about to run out. Amazing technology, already very mature for doing large events. You do need a lot of help with these things. So my only advice is you need a host in each one of these rooms. If you have 100 rooms, you need 100 people because those hosts are going to mute people. They're going to allow certain things to happen. And because those hosts can communicate with each other because they're on air, you'll be able to coordinate the event. But as anybody who's run a physical event will know, that's essential anyway. So I think that's about it. The other thing I wanted to mention, just going back to the very beginning about my experiences with that in-person event, is that, so let me bring in a mirror here and I had to get it now, is that the presentations today, we still do a presentation with PowerPoint and somebody speaking, right? That's got to change. I think with this kind of technology, imagine here that I can, instead of bringing in a picture of Cambridge University, for example, I could bring in a 3D model of it from Google Maps or the inside of one of the chapels there. Imagine I was talking about the environment and I could bring up a 3D model of the Earth that shows the sea level rising. I could bring up the sea level in the whole room to get everybody to feel that kind of visceral sense of urgency around global warming. I think that's the next step. So we've got the technology to present 2D plus presenter to massive audience already today. And if you're wearing a VR headset, which realistically you can't for a long time. They're not very comfortable. But if that becomes glasses, that technology exists. The next step is to make the presentation into something that's as easy to use as PowerPoint, allows you to get your point across, but something that's more engaging, more memorable, and more interactive. So we're going to move away from this stage plus audience paradigm with a 2D screen into you will be on the moon with me as I talk about my experience as an astronaut, these kind of things. Of course, you could argue that that would kill the art of good storytelling. We did see a very good presentation from an astronaut who, no slides, just his voice, and his experience was the best presentation I've seen for a long time. But that's an art, right? I think with technology, we can bring people and help them understand our experiences and communicate that, which is usually what presentations are about. So that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed this content and look forward to your questions and comments about this.